Hi, this is Bernard Trottier, Member of Parliament for Etobicoke Lakeshore, and welcome to In the Hot Seat, your chance to ask me questions and hopefully my opportunity to answer them for you. This is a video companion to the Lakeshore Link. If you haven't already done so, please sign up for my e-newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks. Now, I'm going to answer some of the questions that have come in just recently from people in Etobicoke Lakeshore. The first question came from Anne from Long Branch, and she asks, I'm approaching retirement and I've been told I'm going to have to wait 2 more years before collecting my pension. How is that fair? So good question, Anne. Thanks for asking it. So first of all, I should mention that the changes that we introduced in Budget 2012 don't affect pension, or at least the Canada Pension Plan. As you know, we introduced some changes to old age security, which is not a pension per se. Now, when it comes to the Canada Pension Plan, that's financed by employer and employee contributions, and that's viewed as financially sound. There will be no changes to anything you would receive under the Canada Pension Plan. Now, with respect to old age security, we introduced some changes in the spring to make sure that it would be financially viable over the long term. Now, when we looked at the projections of what's going to be happening with old age security, to give you some numbers, in 2010, the government spent $36 billion on old age security, and the projection was that would increase to $108 billion by 2030. And the reason for that is, thankfully, we're living longer and we're living healthier. But it also means we need to make sure that there's enough money for everybody to be able to benefit. So that's essentially what we're doing. Now, none of the changes take place until 2023, so your pension or your old age security benefits won't be affected because you mentioned you're approaching retirement soon. And it'll be fully phased in only by 2029. So we're looking forward to implementing the changes because they're necessary, and hopefully people will have the time to make the necessary adjustments. Now the next question, it was from Brian from Sunny Lee. He wanted to ask a question about MP pensions. I received an email indicating that taxpayers contribute $24 for every dollar that you put into your pension. Why should we pay so much for your gold-plated pension? Well, good question, and I agree with you. The pension plan that members of Parliament had is gold-plated, or was gold-plated until the changes that we introduced just recently. And essentially we're going to move to a 50-50 plan. So not a 24-to-1 plan or a 6-to-1 plan, but a 1-to-1 plan. And that puts the MP pension plan in line with what's out there in the public and private sector. So it's fair to everybody. I should also mention that nobody would collect full benefits until the age of 65, moving it up from the current age of 55. So that's a significant change, much fairer to taxpayers than what exists today. Now the third question is from Emily from Mimico, who asks, you've recently said that Etobicoke Lakeshore is a great place to live, work, and raise a family. What specifically are you doing to make that a reality for me and my family? Good question, Emily, because that's what's important, is that I represent Etobicoke Lakeshore, the great city of Toronto, and I want to make sure that I'm a voice fighting for what's right for Toronto when it comes to investments and making sure we've got the right kinds of programs for you and your family. So I'll just give a couple of examples of how it's valuable to have me at the caucus table, as long as my caucus mates, making sure that we're fighting for those proper things for Toronto. The development of the waterfront is a good news story, and the federal government, and perhaps we don't get enough credit for it, but we've been investing $500 million in the redevelopment of Toronto's waterfront. And those will be long-term investments for the benefit of all Torontonians and all Etobians also. But specifically in Etobicoke and in Mimico, you're probably aware that the Mimico Linear Park, we've had Phase 1, and this coming week we're going to be doing the grand opening of Phase 2, which is a part of Waterfront Toronto, and the federal government is investing heavily. So once again, thank you for your questions. Please keep sending them in. If you haven't already done so, please sign up to receive my newsletter, The Lakeshore Link.